I love it when people say, I get it, in podcasts and in, like, scripted shows.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's, like, a period drama and it's somebody in, like, the 50s or the 60s. They're like, look, I get it. It's like, no, you don't get it. Nobody said, I get it in 1955.
You don't think so?
Not the way they say it now.
Oh, look, I get it.
Look.
You don't want to eat the whole steak.
I get it.
You want to take some
You're
home
a
with
vegan.
You. I get it. You're a vegan. Right.
Another thing I like is when people say, because I listen to podcasts, I'm trying to, like, learn how to do this.
You're a craftsman. You're studying your craft.
I'm studying my craft, and everyone says, like, the word right at the end of every third sentence.
You're walking down the street. You just want to buy a hot dog, right? You go up to the guy. You say, give me one with everything, right? What do you think he does? Right.
Right. And it's just, it's like if you listen to a podcast or anything, it's people saying this word all the time. Well, and it's like CEOs of different entertainment companies being interviewed and they're saying right, and they're saying I get it, and I hate these little things. And I'm like,
yeah. But
if I ever have a meeting with the head of Netflix, she's gonna go right, and I'm just gonna be like, stop.
Of course, right. That's why you don't have that Netflix deal. You flushed it down the toilet.
But it makes everyone sound like a professor. Like,
oh, see, I think they sound like a rambling idiot.
Well, that too. But
I'm walking down the street. It's like I don't speak Chinese.
It's like, well, let me explain it to you. Okay, see, I'm 49, right? It's like, what are you talking about? Right. Why is that a lesson? Why do they have to agree with this fact?
There used to be a thing where I grew up in Pennsylvania that people would say the word say. And what they meant by it was, but they're like, say you're going to the store.
Yeah.
Okay. And say you buy a soda. Okay. They're not saying, I buy a soda. No. But it sounds like
they're not asking you to start a vaudeville bit.
Yeah, they want
as much as you think that's what everyone wants.
Always that's why I got into vaudeville. I thought everybody was trying to prompt me for a burlesque routine. I did have about 45 Diet Cokes today. I'm not going to lie about it, and they were big. I've gone the bathroom three. To the reason I had to go to the bathroom again at the Hilton Garden Inn, Burbank.
I love using hotel bathrooms without staying at the hotel.
And you know what? You know what they had there? Those little, because it's the Garden Inn, they try to make you feel like even though our hotel is shittier than a regular Hilton, we give you extra amenities like free coffee in the morning. I took a coffee to go. Decaf.
Nobody tackled you and be like, let's see your room key.
Nope, because I came out from the bathrooms, which is in the back.
I have a right to this coffee.
Yeah. I'm friends with the guest in this place.
How dare you?
I know a guest of this hotel, and I use the term loosely.
Look, I get free coffees all over town, and no one seems to have a problem with it.
Nobody has a problem with it, but you, madam, Miss Gutierrez, general manager, if that's your actual title.
I'm talking to A&W about sponsorship.
Diet root beer, baby.
Best
on the market.
I love Diet A&W root beer.
Yeah.
It might be the best one of all the Diet root beers.
I'll tell you this. Of every one I've had, it is the best. And I'll tell you how I first got hooked on it. There is an A&W restaurant I think it's in, let me think about this, Marshall, Missouri. And this place, I'm telling you, whatever year they built it, they changed nothing but the prices. It's like 1972. Like the choice, looking at this place when it was here or Shakey's Pizza. Where are we going? It has a fireplace in the dining room that has a circular counter around it. So like there's counter seating. Like you can just picture the Little League team coming in and getting their hot dogs and sitting around afterwards. I got pictures. But
I was going to say, can you prove this?
Yeah. When they
don't put down your phone.
No. Don't boss people like that. It's not nice. I'm going to look for it. They don't know what you're holding.
But
right
on a
now.
podcast, the sound of someone looking for pictures on their phone, it's like least entertaining thing I can think of.
No, it's not the least entertaining. There's far more less entertaining.
It's far least.
So you threw me off now.
I'm so
sorry. That's the problem.
I'm sorry.
You're supposed to say yes and not do anti.
Teach me improv. Teach me improv.
That's all I know. Don't be a shutdown.
Okay, fine. Look for pictures on your phone.
Well, I was trying to show it to you. I got it.
From something how long ago?
Oh, no. It's still there. That's what I'm telling you. It's still there.
How many years back do you have to look into your phone to find the pictures?
It's in my favorites. This place is
It's in your favorites?
Yeah.
Am I in your favorites?
No. Not on my pictures. I don't have a lot of pictures of you.
I have more of you than I care to admit.
I probably have the ones we took the other day here.
Yeah, I don't have a lot.
By which other day we mean?
We have to create a social media presence. We have to take another picture.
You just negated yourself.
What?
You said you had a lot, and then you had to cancel yourself.
Man, I'm fucking up left and right. I'm a mess.
You're just the devil may care. You're worried about these CEO podcasts.
Worried about getting the lingo down.
Anyway, when you get the root beer there, it's fountain. But they still give you the frosty mug.
The mug.
And I went there, and I had not been there in a very long time. I was there again like last summer. I think I was doing a show. So we went there one day. And since the last time I was there, I didn't drink sugar. So I saw this diet A&W root beer. Poured it in that frosty mug.
How do you feel about the frosty mug?
It's the best.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things I want in a frosty mug. I don't even think I want beer in a frosty mug.
How do you feel about floats?
Nah. Not a big...
Too much?
I don't like ice cream.
The ice cream's just kind of floating
around.
I mean, I don't like... You don't know what to do with it?
I would rather have a bowl of ice cream and a mug of root beer rather than a root beer float.
I like a root beer float.
I mean, I guess it's the most acceptable, other than a Dole Whip, whatever that
Dole Whip float is. I like
the
concept of A&W, that it's like you get your hot dogs and your fries and your root beer, and it's all this classic Americana food.
It's like Little League.
I was once in Florida, and I went to this restaurant, and they had a real barrel.
Oh, yeah.
With a spigot on it.
Yeah.
And they poured me some root beer, and it was like better than any root beer I'd ever tasted in my life. I don't know what it was. Let's just say it was, because we love A&W.
There used to be a place in St. Louis that had a humongous barrel that had the spigot on it. It was just a counter, right? So it was like a little hot dog hamburger place. Oh, yeah. I'm correcting myself.
Just comes out.
But they had a humongous root beer barrel in the middle. I think it's the only kind of drink they serve, maybe other than water.
What is root beer? Is it sarsaparilla? Is sarsaparilla or sarsaparilla?
I can go through this whole thing if you really want to hear it.
I do.
So first off was birch beer.
Okay.
Now, birch beer and root beer were alcoholic. Okay? I have liquor that's made from birch bark, which is also, there's all these different names.
Is that like birch trees?
Mm-hmm.
The white trees with the dots?
Birch bark is what birch beer is. Root beer, roots, there's some little mixed of birch beer stuff. It was Native American, whatever. And then I know at a certain point...
Don't say whatever after Native American. You got to treat it with respect.
Well, I'm saying if it's not them, no disrespect intended.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or some Native American or some type of
respected
indigenous cultures that I respect more than my own. And then, sarsaparilla changed to root beer. I learned that from Carousel of Progress. When he's like, Sarah, a glass of sarsaparilla. Oh, I'm sorry. We're drinking a root beer now. Like, ooh, they changed it. But I do know a lot of, a lot of breweries made root beer during Prohibition because they had to like change over and make something that they could still keep their facilities running and not be just shut down completely.
Mm-hmm.
But Jay Edwards, who you know.
Love him.
Tie it in real quick.
Edited
half the Aquatine episodes. He bought me a bottle of this liquor that is the original indigenous recipe of whatever root beer was, birch beer or whatever it was called. And it tastes like root beer, but it's like a liquor. It's not even like a, what do you call it? It's not something you'd have a glass of. It'd be either an ingredient in a cocktail or like
a shot,
a 1 ounce. Yeah, it is not like how you drink a beer.
I'm familiar with alcohol.
It's delicious. Well, it's like a liquor, not a whatever.
A liqueur?
Yeah, or a cordial. Maybe it is one of those. I don't know. I'm sure it would be delicious in some kind of peanut buttery cocktail. I don't like peanut butter myself. I don't like sweet stuff.
You seem like a guy who would love some peanut butter.
Ugh. I like it. I like the idea of peanut butter. It's too sweet though. I don't like. You
don't like movie candy. You don't like sweet stuff.
I like the sour movie candy.
Sour Patch Kids.
Love Sour Patch Kids. Eat those all day. In fact, not to sound too timely, but my daughter and I, right down from Arts Delicatessen, where every sandwich is a work of art on Ventura Boulevard, they opened a new shop that sells gummies, not marijuana gummies, Swedish gummies.
Oh yeah, I've had them on the other side of the.
It's they got every one in
near
there.
The farmers market.
They're fantastic. What's the place called? It's probably the same thing.
I don't know, some
you get a little
Swedish word.
You get a little scoop in a white paper bag, right?
It felt like it was hit or miss. Some of the things were good, some of the things were not so good.
I only got the sour ones. So far, 100% delicious.
Hit after hit.
After hit. Yes, they're incredible.
I feel like A&W has like an old-timey vibe. Dad's has, I mean, I hate to talk about the competition since we love A&W, but Dad's is also good. IBC, when IBC showed up, there's this place in Mundelein, which is the town next to Libertyville, called Frank's for the Memories, and I would get an IBC and a chicken sandwich every day for lunch when I was like a senior in high school.
You went to a hot dog place.
It was
the chicken sandwich.
I got the chicken, but they were really famous for their wings. I don't recall ever having a hot
Why
dog.
did they name the place Frank's for the Memories?
Maybe they liked Frank Sinatra.
Was the guy's name Frank?
Might have been Frank.
Was he very forgetful?
I never saw a hot dog there, but they were like on Super Bowl Sunday. They'd have
line out the door.
But I would get IBC root beers there, and for some reason, the IBC root beer in the bottle was such a big deal.
That bottle
Barks
was
a big deal
changer.
when that showed up. Is Barks got caffeine? Barks has bite. Is the bite the caffeine? I don't know. Is caffeine supposed to bite? I don't know. Barks was a big deal. I mean, we were just like a root beer family. But now my question is, what is the artificial flavor that they put into like root beer candies and root beer flavored things? What is it? And is it?
It's got to be. It's that extract from whatever the root is. It's got to be.
Is it a root?
It's got to be.
What root? Is it the root of the birch tree?
Maybe. They're probably all 4 degrees off from each other. Birch bark. I used to love birch beer because that was in Pennsylvania. We had birch beer.
Does birch beer taste like root beer?
Yeah, it tastes very similar. It's usually a little bit redder, and it's not. I like it because it was not as sickeningly sweet.
Speaking of
some of those, that's a bad root beer to me when they're too sweet.
Speaking of beverages, I'm nervous today.
Why? What happened? You got only a water.
I'm getting my colonoscopy tomorrow.
Oh.
So today is liquid day.
Just liquid. I haven't scheduled mine yet. I had to do it.
You haven't done it.
Haven't done it.
I thought you were going to be like telling me, "Oh, it's no problem," because everyone says, "Oh, it's no problem. It's the prep that's the hard part." Like
what do you got to prep for?
Well, they gave me like this milk jug with like 1/10 of it is powder. And you fill it full of water, you put it in your fridge. I went in there and they're like, the 2, I assume, smaller bottles it's going to cost you $217, not covered by insurance. And they're like, call the doctor and try to get the generic. I got the generic. It's like this big thing, literally this big. With
like literally like
powder,
a gallon milk jug.
like a huge jug.
And you got to drink all this?
I got to drink it all, half of it tonight, half of it tomorrow, and it's supposed to make you shit your
brains out.
Yeah. And I got to walk my kid to school tomorrow.
You're going to be a quick walk.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Come on, move it up. Come on, let's get moving.
We don't have time today to talk
quick
about
sticks, buddy.
every single anime character. We got to go.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just drive?
I could, but then I'm in a car. There's no safe way.
But you'll be back home quicker.
That's true.
How long does it take you to walk?
15 minutes.
So you got 30 minutes. Because there's no pooping at your kid's school. You can't go in there. Hey, guys, excuse me. I just got to get in here real quick. Don't worry about me. Oh, gosh.
I've done that. I've done that where I've dropped them off at like music class.
Oh, yeah.
And used their bathroom and they just destroyed it. And then I walk out of there whistling.
Doopy-doo.
happy as a clam.
Hey, kids.
They're like, why is he so?
Have a great day, everybody. Yeah.
The music is within you. The music's inside of you.
Meanwhile, what you were just doing in there sounded like a symphony orchestra tuning up.
The wind section.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so tomorrow not only am I getting the colonoscopy, but the endoscopic thing too.
Uh-huh.
So I'm getting a camera down my throat and a camera up my butt. So
what are they looking for? They just want to see what the tip looks like when it's inside you.
I think they're just going to take pictures of me with the two cameras and sell them.
They kiss, and then they pull them right back out again.
Yeah, well, I guess they look for polyps, remove them if they find them.
The gastroscopy.
I hope I don't have any polyps. And yeah, and then the camera one is looking for damage from acid reflux on my esophagus.
Oh, and they're doing it all at once.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
One-stop shop.
So is it like, all right, Harry, I'm going to take the top, draw the straws.
Do they high five?
Yeah.
Do they spin me around like a rotisserie chicken?
Right. Do they, yeah.
I guess you just wake up and you're farty and you have farts and your throat is sore.
A breeze blows into your mouth that just comes straight out your asshole with no cheek. Like how a dog does because they have no butt cheeks, so it doesn't make a sound. I
don't like this part of life. You got me this doctor, and thank you so much for this wonderful doctor. But you got me this doctor, and now I have the app, and I have the chart, and I have the blood work, and I have all the doctors I'm going to, and it's like a constant thing. You have to go to every single doctor, and this is like, I'm 49. I'm going to turn 50 this year. This is like the year where
it all happens.
I look for cancer. I search. Mm-hmm. I'm going through my whole body just looking for cancer. My father died from cancer, and so I'm just so excited.
You're on the hunt
about this part of my life. And when I try to book a podcast with you, you've got like 7 doctor appointments a week.
I mean, let me tell you this. I don't know if I told you this or not. So 2 weeks ago, I called because I had to schedule a nutritionist. I didn't have to, but the hepatologist said, I'm not going to give you a nutritionist because your endocrinologist, it would be like overlap. And I said, okay. And then I went home and I'm like, wait a minute. I'd love to talk to a nutritionist. This would be great. So I called through the UCLA Health, with the whole thing. Guess what the first available appointment was?
That's six months from now.
Let's just say I called to make it on February the 14th.
It's for October.
September 7th. First available. I said, the lady and I were on the phone. We were laughing a lot because she was like, it's September. I said, you realize I could die of malnutrition before I see the nutritionist. I said, let me ask you another question. Can I will this appointment to my daughter? Like how they deserve season tickets to sports games? I said, because I might not make it till September. This is so far ahead in the future.
Love how you have a captive audience and
we had a great time.
The woman is just like,
she's like, oh, you're the most fun person I'm sure, because everyone else
get on
just
the phone with somebody,
screaming at you.
Crack your knuckles. You're like, finally, she's stuck with me.
I mean, it didn't help. Still September
I want to complain
7th.
about my bill, but now I got Teresa.
Mm-hmm. Although I will say, a guy called me like the next day from the doctor's office, of which I had talked to that woman. And he was like, I'm telling you right now, I'm the expert. Just all I need to know, because the place is in Santa Monica. That's the other bitch of it. It's far away. But he said, how long ahead of time would you need to be able to be in Santa Monica? I said, well, I guess an hour. I said, but also it depends. Some days, if it's close to school pickup, I wouldn't be able to. But this guy is a mover and a shaker in this office. He has his list of people. Second something opens, he calls this guy can't do it, calls the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. So now, a lot of, I'm getting emotional about it. It just really touches me.
It's just a nutritionist, Dana.
Yes. That's the problem. People think it's just a nutritionist. It's so much more. Anyway, now I got April 2nd.
Well, you were moving things around so much, and then I got sick, and so many people were sick last week, and I was shitting out my ass and throwing up. It was one of those things where,
ironically, now
I have to go and do it again. I'm like, I feel really, I'm kind of vain. I'm like, I hope I look good down there. I hope everything's all cleaned out. But I had, you have uncontrollable diarrhea. You want to throw up, but it just makes the diarrhea come out. I'm sorry to be bringing this up.
I know.
But it makes me think of this friend of mine, Randy Havens, who plays Mr. Clark on Stranger Things on Netflix. We were best friends in Atlanta when I worked at Cartoon Network, and I remember one night he was on the toilet and he had a garbage can in front of him, and he had what we call liquid finger cuffs.
Oh.
Which is the liquids coming out of both directions.
Oh, yeah.
Finger cuffs, are like this.
Sure. Chinese
finger cuffs, yeah.
Right.
And he had the liquid finger cuffs just after a night of drinking. It was self-imposed.
What the hell was he drinking?
Well, back in the day,
or was it? What wasn't he drinking?
Yeah, he had that Brunswick stew from the Euclid Avenue Yacht Club. But we drank profusely back in the day. But so. But I had to switch appointments because things were moving around so fast. I lost my cleaning at my dentist, and they said the next opening is in May.
Oof.
And they're like, we'll call you if there's an opening.
I got a great dentist if you need one. Fantastic.
I can't tell if my dentist is good. You know how the dentist comes in, sits down, they've got like the best fucking teeth you've ever seen? Mm-hmm. And you look around and there's all this like evidence of... They have just a slideshow that you're watching in the dentist chair of like, this is Johnny Depp. This is his just horrible face.
Your dentist shows you a slideshow?
Well, they have like a monitor.
No.
And it's just doing a slideshow of like celebrities before and after pictures.
No, that's not a normal thing at most.
He's got like a Super NES that you can play. He's got Netflix.
Hold on. Are you going to a children's dentist? Are you going to Smiling
Seas
Dentist?
I was holding a teddy bear for most of it.
Did the chair look like a race car of some type?
It did look like Lightning McQueen, now that I think about it.
I think you're going to a children's dentist.
I was having a really good time. Yeah. I don't know what it was. But no, he had, the dentist, I don't know. I don't trust dentists. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, must
I got the dentist
horrible.
For you.
Well, no, he's fine.
I know.
But you do have to wait a long time.
Yeah, no.
I get these cleanings regularly. Is it wrong to get like so many? If I could, I'd get a cleaning like every month.
Yeah, I want to be like John Gotti, who got a haircut every day. He did. He got a haircut every single day.
Yeah.
That was like part of his routine. Go to the barber, the guy would give him just a barely. Imagine that every day comes in. I got a great dentist.
I used to have the most amazing, when I went to NYU, there was this trio of Sicilian barbers, and they'd give me like a straight razor shave.
Oh, yeah.
And they would like give me like the works every day. I loved
every
it.
Day? Well, there you go.
Well, not every day, but like whenever I needed it. Every time, I should have said.
Where were they?
But it was on McDougal Street.
Did you ever go to that weird, that like downstairs barbershop in Astor Place?
Yeah.
That there's like 50 chairs down there.
Is it the one on the way to the subway?
Well, it always depends which way you're going.
I might be thinking of a different place.
It's like downstairs.
By, Penn Station.
It's like you walk downstairs, And it was like, I mean, there are like literally like 30, 40 barber chairs in there that everybody kind of has their own rented stall.
I'm thinking of something else.
I think it's just Astor Place Barbershop. It's great. Every one of them is like varying degree of insane characters.
Your voice is so weird right now that you're dealing with this
stifling my emotions about those emotions.
Every barber is a different kind of person.
Oh, wait a minute. My accountant's here.
Hey, everybody. The numbers don't look good.
How do you feel about getting old?
Hold on a minute. I'll die before I get old, probably.
Do you feel like you're like a teenager?
No, but I never felt like
your body is betraying
I always
you?
felt like I was 45 years old.
Yeah,
I always felt like I was 70 years old.
You've always been like 70 years old.
I'm like, mentally, I was like Abe Vigoda looked. He always looked like he was 80 years old.
You were made for like a Catskills buffet.
Right. Yeah, like two guys drinking coffee, sitting at a booth for far too long at a restaurant.
Do you feel like an old soul? Do you believe in reincarnation?
I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but I'm like an atheist. I do not believe in it.
That's agnostic. Atheist is like for sure they don't believe.
No. I thought like
agnostic is like I don't know how could I possibly know?
I thought like Penn Jillette is always like I'm atheist, but like I would love to see proof that there is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, like they're more like prove me wrong, and let's not pretend there's a guy in the sky who sees everything, every single thing that every single person does.
Did you have to go to church as a kid?
Yeah, but I feel like we didn't go a lot. We went.
If we didn't go, we weren't allowed to leave the house on Sunday.
Yeah, see, we didn't.
And I went to Catholic school.
Yeah, I didn't go to Catholic. We were Lutheran.
Yeah.
What
is that? Like, what is Lutheran?
Lutheran's like Martin Luther, right?
He hammered the rules on the door.
Yes, that's his branch. But then even amongst Lutheran, there's like the more sort of progressive, like let's say easier going, and then the harsher, more strict. Incense. Yeah, like I remember when I went to college, the pastor at my church.
You went to church in college when you didn't have to go?
No. In Las Vegas, before I went to college, he said, I just want you to know should you be looking for a Lutheran church. I mean, obviously I wasn't going to, but he was like, if you should, just know we are the Reformed Lutheran Church, and you don't want whatever the other one was, like the
raw
Lutheran Church is, because they're much more like they don't play, like they had like sort of more modern liturgy and,
I rebelled against my father, who was almost a priest.
Oh.
And I joined a Presbyterian youth group in high school. Because that's where kids who I was in the plays with and musicals with.
That's where they went.
That's where they went. And the girl I liked was there. So then I joined it. And me and this girl were hot and heavy, constantly dry humping anytime we were alone in a room. We'd go to this Presbyterian youth group, and the youth guy, and all youth group leaders need to get seriously vetted. But this guy was like, he would teach us about, not having sex.
Right. No.
But then he would take us on like a field trip and they'd show us a movie about two teenagers who wanted to have sex but then didn't and connected with the Lord, and
like
they were so happy about it. I remember going up to the youth leader and being like, Maggie and I, we wanted to fuck so bad, but we're not gonna. We were so happy about it and so proud of it. If I could turn back time, as Cher would say. My God. If I could.
You would have.
Yes.
You realize now you just wasted your time.
What do you mean?
Not having sex.
Yeah. If I could go. Now I've got this old, gross, fat, bald body nobody wants to touch.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to look at. If I could go back and I could get that young body and drive that around like a car. I would fuck everything I could.
Well,
if everybody was down with it, of course.
It's like age, or like, I think the one thing I feel about getting older is you notice as you get older, you become more invisible. Like people don't, not that either of us were ever, I mean, we've both been in scenarios where we are definitely the center of attention. But walking down the street. I love
those scenarios.
Yeah. But like you just notice, like if there's 4 people waiting in line that there's no determination of who might be first, you're kind of always going to get picked last the longer you're alive, because they're like, he can wait. He's not in a rush. Not like this young guy, this young 22-year-old dude with his cool clothes listening to rock music. Like
he's listening to rock.
He's got to go. He's got people to fuck, and he's got all kinds of
freedom rock, man.
Well, turn it up, man.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, that's why I don't leave my apartment, I don't think, is because I just, not that I'm going outside to be like, oh, wow, what an attractive man.
You know, I don't like going out a lot at all. I like eating at restaurants, but I don't like getting to the restaurant.
I miss, I'm sober now, but I definitely miss all the drinking I did. Especially in Atlanta, which is maybe like the happiest time of my life, working at Cartoon Network. I mean, I was kind of miserable at work because I was at the bottom of the barrel, but I still got to do a lot of cool shit. Yeah. But I mean, I loved meeting up with friends from Dad's Garage, which was like this improv theater in town. And I would meet up with my friends and we'd go out to drink. And I was so happy with all just the socializing and the talking. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it would become, at some point, it would all go dark. It would get dark.
Right, because it's 2:30 in the morning.
Not literally. I mean, like, something would turn. I would become like a evil blackout drunk.
Right.
But I really loved all the socializing, and I liked that about UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade, too. In New York, we'd all go to McManus Pub after a show, and it was really about going to the pub more than it was about the show, and everyone could kind of like dissect what they did. And but there was, I loved all the hanging out we did, all the talking, all the smoking of cigarettes, and all the drinking we did. Of course, there'd be that moment where you would just drank too much because it came with this magical solution that would turn you into somebody else as you continued to ingest it.
We were joking today about when I was with my friend earlier that we were in Miami for a convention, and one of the people we had a suite. But one of the people was going back to the room, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and our friend is walking out and turns to, they're like, okay, I gotta go. Everyone had already had too much to drink at this point. And we look over and see them, and they're holding 2 pint glasses, one filled to the brim with white wine, and one filled to the brim with red wine. And they go, I'm just gonna take this back to my room for a little nightcap. That's one of those, and we say guaranteed, those are probably still untouched on the nightstand in the next morning. But also we were like, how are you going to open the door? That was not thought of through that. The one thing I do miss about going out, not a lot. First off, totally agree. I love the after show drink and possibly dinner, both. They're like the one place. There's always the one place where you go. It's far enough away that the audience doesn't go there. Sort of like private a little bit.
Yeah,
it's like your little joint. I love that post show nightcap. Let's discuss how the show went, et cetera, et cetera. But also the one thing I really miss about going out places is I love going to, like, let's say 2 PM in a bar room, a real bar room, like the Foxfire. I went there with Zach, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. We were like waiting for something to open. We're like, oh no, that was like after a school drop off. I was with my friend Quincy and I had to take him to the airport, but he didn't have to go till like noon or 1:00. So I dropped my kid off at school. Now what? It's 8:15 in the morning. And he's like, I want to go get a drink. I said, I don't know. I said, okay, I guess we can go to Jinkies. They're open 24 hours. We get there. Jinkies is no dice for him because all they serve is wine and beer and soju cocktails. He wants a drink. He wants liquor. I think I remembered when this was because it was shortly after Russia invaded the Ukraine.
Mm.
So I said, I don't know where else. And I go, wait a minute. The Foxfire, that place, they're always open. As long as there's alcoholics in the valley, the Foxfire will be open. We got to the Foxfire. It was probably 8:45 in the morning. And they have a little tent in the back parking lot. That's their smoking patio. It just takes up one car spot that they rolled like fake AstroTurf down and put 8. I'm not shitting you. There were 11 people under that thing, all smoking. It's 8:45 in the morning. We pull up, start to walk in, and all of them like, shit, new people are here. They all come back in, and it's like only one person goes behind the bar. The other 10 go back to their bar stools. And then it came out like a lot of them were, most of them, in addition to being alcoholics, were like worked on movie sets, like they'd been working all night. And so this was their post-show thing. It just happened to be, it was at 9 in the morning. It was not our post-show. We were legitimately there at 9 in the morning.
You're feeling pretty badass.
Drinking. Just
showing up at 8:45, and little did you know there were people that were just like, we are just finishing up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. No one there was just finishing up. They were maybe wrapping their workday, but they were all... But there's something about an old school, like kind of dirty.
I used to be that kind of drunk. I used to, when I lived
in the morning.
When I lived in Philadelphia, not so much a morning. I was never a morning drinker. I lived with a guy who had to drink beer before he would go wait tables. But I lived across the street from a bar in South Philly, and we were definitely like barflies. We were there every day. After work.
Yeah. Well, it becomes your community.
Yeah.
Some people do that with, little old ladies do that with church and other people, I guess. But then other guys, like, you want that, but you don't want to seem like a whatever.
And I remember being a waiter, and I'm sure you've been a waiter.
Never been a waiter.
That's surprising. But like when you wait tables, say you make what, $100 in a night or $80 a night, then you run to the bar.
Spend it all.
Spend $50 at the bar. Yeah. And then you go to the bar after the bar is closed, that's open.
Oh, yeah.
From 2 to 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
You get the cocaine and... Hey, so this is MC. If you'd like to advertise on our podcast, please write us at mattersnotpod@gmail.com. We also have a GoFundMe. All of that can be found on our Linktree, linktr.ee/mattersnotpod. Please make a donation. Help me pay for Dana's beverages. Help us pay for studio time and the art. And if we make enough money, we can hopefully start doing video and do all kinds of cool things. Please support us if you can, or advertise on our podcast by writing us at mattersnotpod, mattersnotpod@gmail.com.
I'm sure you've noticed. I always notice a large percentage of people that have enjoyed Aquatine are in the service industry. Bartenders, because a lot of them, they get done with their work. That's what's on when they were home at 11:30 at night. Get a little extra with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. When I lived in Atlanta, I would
particularly because it's
I never had to pay for a drink.
Yeah, it's like the home of all that stuff
I was given free drinks constantly. A lot of times I'm letting them know who I am because, I'm pathetic.
Yes, when you're going to line at Super Mario Brothers.
But yeah, I remember I would go up to what was that bar right by the Midtown Theater that had the tater tots and all the video games. I can't think of it.
The Earl?
No, it wasn't the Earl. It was across the street from a high school, but I remember walking up to the bartender and being like, I'm MCP Pants. And he'd be like, that's all I need to know.
I'm DJ Dookie Drawers. What of it? Who cares?
DJ Dookie Drawers. I think we just helped someone's career quite a lot. But yeah, I used to drink a lot and not have to pay for anything. Go to the Star Bar and they wouldn't let me pay.
It's nice.
Yeah, it was nice. But I feel like, as we've said before on previous podcasts, that doesn't quite apply anymore.
Yeah. Memories.
We used to be riding high. That being said, speaking of Aquatine, I got some bad news.
What?
They're pulling Aquatine from Max in May.
For good?
I think so.
What's the matter with them?
So I bought a couple of box sets.
Are those 100-episode ones?
With every episode on it.
All but one.
Oh, there was one, the black one?
Shake Like Me.
Is that, who decided that shouldn't be a thing?
Max.
Max did?
Max and whoever put that DVD, that 20-disc DVD set out, they did.
Is it offensive? I don't recall that episode.
He gets bitten by a radioactive black man. Shake does, and then starts
he gets black powers?
Talking in... Yes, he can, like, dunk. His straw becomes abnormally large. He grows an afro for some reason. Anyone I've talked to who's black has particularly singled it out as an episode they particularly liked.
Yeah, it's always the opposite.
But I also feel like it's got to be. But if they were going to ban that, fine. I definitely could see how it would be offensive. But then, like Wong Burger, a
penis-headed,
like a penis head, a walking penis who's just thought of as an Asian man.
Here's the thing:
no problem with that.
MCP pants is a racist construct in my mind, and I'm doing like it's always in my mind as you've heard me say at cons before. It's my bad Chris Tucker impersonation.
Yeah.
It's basically something that.
Which is,
legit.
Chris Tucker impersonation.
Honestly, it always embarrasses me that the one thing I'm known for is pretending to be black. And
although you have a job that is traditionally,
I'm a rapper.
Yeah, that right out of the gate.
Yeah, I'm in murky waters, no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah,
but
I don't know anything about rap,
but I'll have black people come to my show,
yeah,
and they'll be like, "That's my favorite. You're my favorite. That's my favorite thing." And I'm always so concerned and worried about like, I'm so sorry that I like rap or that I am MCP pants and that I like these things and that this is my life's work. They could give less of a shit.
I mean, but I don't feel like you do. Yeah, it's your bad Chris Tucker, but it's not like you're being an offensive African-American stereotype of something.
Am I not?
I mean, he's an idiot, but here's the thing. I don't mean Chris Tucker. I mean MCP. Everyone in the show is an idiot.
True.
I mean, is it any...
But I mean...
I guess this is a Me Too-able argument about it, but I mean, is it any less offensive to dumb Italian guys from New Jersey? Because Dave is not that person.
No. Well, I honestly, we could go off on this, but I feel like Carl is a Southerner's, satire of the North. It's almost like revenge for the Civil War.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we lost the war. It's reparations.
Yeah.
We lost the war, but we're going to do Carl.
Although the thing is...
Which is the South's idea of what a Yankee is in the modern age.
I may have this wrong. However, I do believe that Dave Willis's father is from Long Island, New York.
Oh, really?
When you talk to him, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
It's based on somebody. It's based on...
His dad...
I thought it was based on a college friend or something.
His dad... They moved to Georgia because he was a pilot.
Mm.
And Delta, they're based in Atlanta. But I think his dad is from New York. And you talk to him, he does not talk like Dave talks with that little drawl. I think I'm remembering that right.
So we got to wrap it up. But
speaking of rappers.
Today,
how about that one, huh? He likes that. Anything that gets him the hell out of this room.
You wanted some questions from the fans.
Ooh, we got some?
Well, I don't know if they're really questions, but these will really make us talk too much. But someone said you were on a Christian Kids Network show. You were a professor making bubbles.
Correct.
And any memories working on a show called Come On Over?
Yeah, that's right. Let me tell you who I had scenes with. Emilio from the bald guy with the mustache from Electric Company.
Him?
I worked with the inimitable Ruth Buzzy.
She was big in her time.
Listen, she's still big.
Okay, my bad.
Fred Willard.
Wow.
Trying to think. That's what I had all my big scenes with. Yes, there is somewhere on there.
How old were you?
I don't know, 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Was it local or where was it? Vegas?
It was a children's show that they were shooting in Michigan. That was based. It was an idea from this visual artist named Joel Tanis. And he came up with this idea for a show. It wasn't really supposed to be Christian. Like, he himself was Christian, but it wasn't like those videos you were talking about like, instead of sex, what if we just prayed? This is much more fulfilling. It was like just a legit children's show they were trying to do. But I think what made it Christian was they had a band on once called Jars of Clay, which is some kind of Christian rock band or something. I don't know what. But I played Dr. Filovit. Yeah, that good. I guess I know your mind is reeling now because you're shocked that you haven't seen this show and it's not in its 40th season.
His name is so close to fellatio.
Oh, see, I was thinking it's close to full of it because he always lies. He makes stuff up.
Okay.
Full of it.
Well, I'm glad he's a liar and not filleting everybody.
I mean, yeah. Sorry, I'm late. I was just filleting back there. Dr. Fellatio. Sorry.
It's my name.
Yeah, well, they had puppets. It was like a whole thing. It was like had little crafty stuff. It was all directed by this guy who I think he had like 40 Emmys for directing episodes of Sesame Street. What I remember most, so there was one episode about bees. So Ruth Buzzy was a beekeeper. That's they bring the expert in.
I don't get it.
And she had her lines, but she did Sesame Street a lot. She was like basically almost a regular on
like,
there.
Oh, here's Ruth again. I guess we should come.
She'd
up
have
with
like, it was amazing because she had her info. She was supposed to say, it's like the bee goes from flower to flower. All her lines on the page. But she just sort of knew basically what she was supposed to say. And then she just went in and did it kind of improving, but had the knowledge. And it was incredible because it was so laid back and it really came off like she was just having a conversation, which is definitely what made it so much more natural. It was very impressive. It was very impressive.
A young Dana Snyder was like, huh.
I won't open my phone now, but next to that A&W is my picture of Ruthie and I. And for some reason, I had a T-shirt with a bow tie on it.
Ah.
I'll put it on the thing. They can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Me and Ruth Buzzy.
Which we haven't really done ever.
Yeah. I think the show was called Come On Over.
And how long, and what, you don't know how old you were, but it was like 20 years ago, so you were like...
Probably.
But it was an acting gig and you were happy to have it.
I got it because I used to work every summer at the Hope Summer Repertory Theater, of which was in the city of Holland, Michigan.
This is where you met the Pinwheel parents?
Yep. All the same theater. And they started doing this show, and they got money from the Children's Theater of Grand Rapids, or the Children's Museum of Grand Rapids. So it was a real production. It just happened to be shot in Grand Rapids. But because they had seen me at the theater, they were like, oh, you should be this guy. And I wasn't in a bunch of them. I was in maybe like 5 episodes or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I was happy to do it.
And you blew bubbles?
There was an episode about, each one was about something stupid, like bubbles, bees. I think there was one about the one with Fred Willard and that guy who's like the announcer on Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady. He's a big improv guy. They were the laughter doctors. So there's one about like laughter. There was one, they were all like very simple, whatever the theme is. And the puppets were all like maniacs. I don't know how many puppeteers you've been around, but some of them are like almost hyperactive because they're down under some weird fucking box with their arm in some unnatural position, and they're watching a monitor of real people walking by, and it's very easy to forget they're tucked away in some weird box or something. So some of them this one person just had like diarrhea of the mouth. I know, too soon. But anytime you're like, hey, what's going on? How you doing there, buddy? And then you talk, and then you realize I'm fucking talking to a pink raccoon here. I've had a 5-minute conversation with a puppet in between takes because they would just, I don't know if they want to just like keep, they're energized.
They take the puppet off and they just shut down.
Oh, yeah. No, it was weird. Like, or you'll see a person later like, hey, I hope your car gets fixed. We're like, how the fuck does she know I hope my car gets fixed? I was like, oh, yeah, that pink raccoon I had that 20-minute conversation with.
Or I was giving her all the unnecessary details of my life.
She's the operator. Yes, right.
Good luck with that addiction to fellatio.
Right, yeah.
Another question is, what are your go-to breakfast meals? I think I can say yours, and I think you can say mine. Should we try to do this? Okay, so Dana gets 2 eggs, sunny side up, with some sausage and hash browns, and then he cuts it all up and mixes it all together and gets the yolk all over everything. He gets a cup of coffee and a water.
You're close.
Is there toast?
It's 3 eggs.
3 eggs.
Over easy.
You're shaking your head. I was so close. What's the difference between over easy and sunny side up? You flip them?
Yeah, you flip them.
But you still want the yolk.
Oh, yeah. I need 3 because I realized that's the perfect ratio of yolk.
You called me a picky eater.
Stuff on the thing.
By the way, you called me a picky eater, and how dare you? Because you decided that you didn't want to go to the diner that we were going to because they didn't have the good hash browns. That's pickiness. You're being picky.
Much more general. You're much pickier.
You don't have a little qualm about everything?
No, I'll put it this way. Of the 5 suggested breakfast places, you would accept one of those.
Uh-huh. Well, those were shady places.
Yeah, shady. Keep going. Okay, here's yours. Ham and cheese omelet.
No ham anymore. No more processed meats.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it pre or post, but now just a cheese omelet.
Post visit to the general practitioner.
Although cheese is processed.
The hell you say? It comes right out of the cow in a block.
So's the ham. Everybody knows that's cow ham.
It's a cow ham.
Yeah. And you don't get potatoes.
I don't.
You get,
but you know what? I love
something.
potatoes more than anything else in the world. I'm Irish. My family's Irish. We grew up eating those thinly sliced potatoes fried on Sunday morning. The best thing in the world.
Where did I go the other day? I was unexpectedly surprised by how good the hash browns were. But I can't remember where I
only like those kinds of shredded hash browns from Waffle House.
I know where it was.
Waffle House is the best.
Oh, see, those are...
Waffle House, we'd love to do a sponsorship.
Love Waffle House.
Never seen a Waffle House commercial in my life.
You know where it was? They don't need to do commercials, that's why.
And they're so good. What's your Waffle House order?
The horseless carriage. That is the diner that is attached and owned by Galpin Motors up in Van Nuys. They have the Volvo dealership, the Ford dealership, the Chevy. They have one of those 5 blocks all around the street. But in the middle is the horseless carriage, which is their diner that they own. Mm. So when you're there for service or whatever, I'd take my car yesterday, get service. Give you the coupon. Go get yourself a nice little breakfast. It was great. Although I was there for 5 hours.
Fan asked me what's my favorite memory from Warped Tour. One day I got out of the bus and...
You weren't on tour anymore.
Yeah, Warped Tour was not easy. It was I came to think of it as like a roving prison camp. I did Warped Tour twice. But
what is Warped Tour?
Warped Tour is a collection of pop punk bands.
Okay.
We all live on buses. We travel around the country all summer long and
do shows. You have to share a bus?
I shared buses, tons of bus stories. But
with people you didn't know before.
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It was tough, but I mean, it was better the second time I did it when I was like playing Magic the Gathering, because there's the second Warped Tour, like something had changed in all the bands. They stopped drinking and doing drugs, and everybody was just playing Magic the Gathering. The end of the day, everybody would break out card tables and start playing nerdy card games.
What time do we have to be done?
I'll let you know.
Okay, I'm going to let you know. I got to go to the bathroom again. So tell your Warped story real quick.
Okay, quick break.
Yeah, don't take a break. Just talk. I'll be back before it.
I love talking and not getting any reaction from Dana, but I'm able to do it. I'll try to do it. So anyway, I get out of the bus one day, and I'd always smoke weed out of an apple, which was like my thing for like years. Something I learned from my stoner friends in Libertyville was how to make a bowl out of an apple. And every morning I would wake up and I'd have my apple that I stole from craft service. I guess I had a right to that apple because I worked there. But I would smoke weed from the apple, and one day Katy Perry came out. She beckoned me over. I think we were in Canada because we were right by like this river. And she had me come over. We got high together. And she said to me, I see you on stage every day. You're always out there. You're giving it your all. And she said, slow and steady wins the race. Which is something that always stuck with me, because the things are always slow. But I always think to myself, well, I'm steady though, like like MC Chris is a thing that never goes away and is always there, and I always make enough money to live off of it, and it's slow and steady. So that was one of the most memorable things that happens. And my nieces came to Warped Tour, and Katy Perry gave them a bunch of signed shit and met with them, and so that was very cool of her. Dana's not back yet. So the other thing I'll say is that I used to wake up every morning and I had a little BMX bike, and I'd ride around the whole park, because you'd wake up and you'd be in a different place every day. And so I'd wake up and I'd try to figure out where everything was. I'd ride my bike around and I'd listen to Girl Talk, which is this, guy who remixed together all these different songs and things. And I loved riding my bike around, figuring out the lay of the land. And then I'd also hit up the porta potties first thing in the morning because they were clean. By the end of the day, it looked like some monkey had gone insane in there and lost his mind. I don't know what happens to you where you just start flinging your shit around. Sorry this is such a scatological episode.
I didn't talk about poop once.
I brought it up like 5 times because it's all I'm thinking about.
I'm just thinking somebody listening to this, having their bran muffin in the morning, driving to work, and then they just turn it off.
Disgusting.
I talk about poop a lot. Anyone who's been to a panel I do at a Comic-Con, no, because
Thanks for being honest.
But I'm always like, I've either just had diarrhea or I'm about to get it. I can tell it's coming on or it's going away. It's not a lot when you don't do a lot of other stuff. I
caught something from my kid last week. It was like the worst thing. And I texted you and I said, will you take my kid to school, which is a surefire sign of an emergency.
I want to apologize, by the way.
Oh, no worries.
Because I saw that after I got home.
I texted so many people. I did not. I was so sick, and I've never.
The future,
in 10 years, I'll call.
In the future,
and I was so sick.
Always call.
I had never experienced sickness where I didn't feel like I was capable of doing my basic responsibilities. And it's like you get sick all the time as a parent, and it just kind of goes away, and then you immediately get something new, and then it goes away, and you get something new, and you're just constantly sick. And then when your kid gets sick and he's coughing in your face, and you just know, oh shit, well there goes next week.
Yeah, that's gonna be mine soon.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have that. No, that's what you're thinking when they're coughing in your face.
Yeah. You got your phone?
See, you got to do this. You talk about stuff that people can't see. That could have been real nice to happen. You could have kept finishing what you're saying. I didn't want to leave it there because I knew I'd forget it.
Someone asked if you have any fun memories about comedy shows in Melbourne.
In Melbourne?
Have you been to Melbourne and done a con or something?
I've been to Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah. What other Melbourne is there?
Who wrote that? Melbourne, Florida.
I don't know.
I've been to both.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I do remember we did the Melbourne Film Fest Who wrote that question?
I don't know.
That could tell a lot.
Okay, well, I have a much more, I think a better question.
We had these two guys at the Melbourne Film Festival. We were like hosting a night of shorts, or I was hosting a night of shorts. We had our friends there. And these two guys who had a podcast about drinking, they would make a cocktail. They'd have guests on, but they just made like 2 root beer barrel size vats, like 55 gallons, 110 gallon drums of some kind of real strong rum cocktail. And half of our group that were there were like 5 of us, maybe. I just remember walking outside at one point and our friend Matt was projectile vomiting, all liquid, into the garbage can out of the front of the movie, because they did it at like a regular Cineplex, a movie theater. And as people are coming out, he is laying on the garbage can, throwing up into this trash can. And we were like, how quickly can we get him home before he throws up in the car, whatever car is going to take him back? Because they put us up at this beautiful, beautiful Melbourne beach house. Great beach house. The guy who owned it, by the way, you know what he has now? Because he opened a little Airbnb. He's a good friend of mine. He bought a couple of those cabins from Fort Wilderness. And so he bought those, and now he's set up like a little Airbnb sort of compound where you can rent one of those cabins.
Another fan asked about...
no comment on that. Just when I grab my phone, huh? So you're going to comment the things
Listen,
nobody
the only
can
reason
say.
I'm not commenting is because I could talk forever about Disney resorts.
I mean, something.
I don't want to do it.
When I'm doing the thing nobody sees. But then when I literally locked eyes.
There's nothing for me. I didn't connect to anything.
Okay.
I mean, I had lots of vomiting stories coming up into my brain, but there was
just finish that and I'll say what you can do.
No.
Just finish the story. I'll give you a model for you what you could have done.
Okay, so back in 88 Christopher Street, where Christopher and Bleecker in New York, my friends who had this punk band called Dirtbag Annie, they had these parties, and I remember we were all drinking profusely, and I remember I was peeing, and then I heard, MC, open the door, MC, open the door, blarg! And then I opened the door, and my friend Dan Paquin was there right next to the door with his hands cupped right below him. There was this huge puddle of vomit on the floor, and then he had caught a little bit of vomit in his hands. So it was like he had the idea to catch the vomit, but it only came to him maybe towards the end of the expulsion. That's all I wanted to say.
So I'm going to model what you do. Like, oh, that's interesting. How about another question?
Oh, you're telling me how I should act?
I'm saying acknowledge.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I'm not telling you how to act.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm a disappointment. Do you want to get somebody else to do this?
No, this isn't about us.
Okay, this person wants to know about your character, the alchemist on the Venture Brothers.
I mean, what do they want to know about it?
Well, do you have any memories about that experience? I mean, we've already talked about getting cast and it angering Dave.
They're very...
How many times was the alchemist on Venture Brothers?
I don't know. Maybe 8 times.
That's a lot of times.
Over 6.
That's
6,
probably...
And he's in the movie.
He's in the movie.
I was very glad. He's got 3 lines in the movie.
Yeah.
I remember Jax was like, sorry, I don't have more lines. I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. I'm
just
happy
like
to
being
be
in the
included.
credits.
That's right. I like having the session.
Do you know these guys? Do you have lunch with them or dinner with them?
I mean, they live in New York. Well, I guess Jackson lives here now, but Doc and I always got along.
Yeah.
We would always be at that Dragon Con. It would always be 3:00 in the morning with us under the porte-cochere smoking cigarettes at 3:00 in the morning.
Which one is the, there's one who's really skinny and one who's more square-jawed.
Yeah, Doc is the skinny, dark hair, very pale, always in a suit. He's always dressed to the nines.
And the other one's called?
Jackson.
Jackson
Public and Doc Hammer.
I think Jackson would see me at Upfronts and be like, fuck me.
Why would he say that? Because he hated him there.
Because he hated me, I think, or he disliked me, or he thought it was annoying because I was always bumming cigarettes off of him, and because I'd be like drunk at the upfront, being upset about
at the upfront, right?
About not being like in anything anymore or something. And
I feel like they got a lot of because Jackson also used to. They both smoked like chimneys.
Yeah,
I don't think
he seemed nice and tolerant.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got the vibe. It's like, oh, I'm punishing this person with my presence.
Both of them are very, very nice, but they were always to me, like, they're always very intimidating to me.
Yeah.
Because they're like real artists, real craftsmen, very smart. Doc has a very much more like acidic, acerbic kind of personality. Like, he has no problem just saying like, well, no, that's a piece of shit. That's why you wouldn't do that. But, and he's a rapier wit. Both of them are extremely articulate. Doc is like I don't know. It's almost like he's a curated human being.
What are they doing now?
I don't know. I've seen both of them within the last year, maybe Doc within the last 2 years. Doc had some weird thing. He was like in a wheelchair for a while, like he lost feeling in his legs or something crazy. He always had a thing he has some inner ear thing he can't fly. So he has to take the train every year. So every time they did that San Diego Comic-Con, by the time we'd see him, he had already been on a train for like 6 days from New York.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
So other than that, we got a lot of comments like, when are we going to have video? Down the road. If we do video, it's just more expensive. And we have costs. So we do have a GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is doing great. It's almost at $1,000.
What do they want video for?
They just want to look at us while we talk.
I guess so.
That's what everyone does. They just want us to do what everyone does.
I know what you're doing. You want more money. That's why you're commenting like when I grab the phone that they can't see. You're trying to let them know what they're missing.
It's a long con.
They don't know how many Diet Cokes I've had. There's a lot of stuff they're not seeing now.
He gets the biggest Diet Coke, so
they'll never know.
These things are expensive. It could be tiny little dentist cups.
Could be 100 of them.
Sippy cups. Dixie cups. Remember how cool Dixie cups used to be? Star Wars Dixie cups.
My hometown is where Dixie cups are from.
Of course.
Oddly, not in the South, but on the top of the building, their water tower was a humongous Dixie cup.
Clever.
And somebody drowned in it.
I don't know why. Every time something horrible happens to somebody on this podcast, I crack up. If you say anyone's dead or got hurt, I just die laughing.
You love it. Well,
I love Schadenfreude.
Zest for life.
I don't know what it is. Someone said we should have a Patreon, and maybe down the road. That's a lot of work because we have to give you guys a bunch of stuff and give you extras and.
What's your
they would give us money.
Patreon prizes?
Well, we'd give them T-shirts and stickers and
T-shirts
but what they want is another podcast.
Extra.
A secret extra podcast.
Video exclusive.
But, the Patreon, I mean, if we're not only raising like $1,000 on a GoFundMe, we're not that popular yet. Although our numbers are great. Our numbers are really good.
Give me the rundown.
We almost have 10,000 views. We almost have 2,000 followers. This is just on YouTube. But that's all I really, that's only like.
Collectively 10,000?
I have no idea.
Per episode?
Not per episode for sure. Collectively.
Okay.
So I'm not. I put some. I did a $500 Facebook ad when we launched.
Whoa.
And I didn't do that for the second one. So we didn't.
Does that?
That helps.
Okay.
It gets it in front of people.
I'm Facebook illiterate.
Yeah. Lucky you. You don't have to do anything. But I think that I think in the future, I have another personal MC Chris YouTube page. It's got like 13,500 followers. We're going to put some podcasts on there, see how that does. We're also going to remove some of the social media sites that we started with because it's just way too much for me to post something 12 different times. And if I wanted to post a lot, it's just becoming way too much for me. So I think we're going to remove some things. We're going to consolidate some things. We're going to improve some audio. We're going to get it in the right place. We're going to improve things, guys.
People might not realize how hard you work on this.
Thank you, Dana. Well, it's just like everyone's got a podcast. And so it feels kind of stupid starting one. But the thing is that we are so much fun to listen to. And I felt this way personally.
They know
and
that.
I thought I should share this with the world.
We felt we were being selfish
by not
sharing ourselves,
by just living life and talking to each other. It felt cruel.
That's right.
To others. That they couldn't enjoy it. And a lot of people freaked out last week when they didn't get an episode of the podcast. And I kind of personally, not only did my workout harder because I love working out to the podcast, because I love coming up with better jokes. I'm like George Costanza in bed that night thinking of like the better joke, and I'm driven crazy by whatever joke I made that day. But I love critiquing myself while I work out. It makes the workout go by so fast. But a lot of people really missed the podcast last week. I missed it because it, makes me feel good to do it.
No, I feel that's why. Yeah, we gotta start doing. We gotta do for some stretch. We have some stretches coming up that we're gonna have to start banking a little bit. I think.
You mean doing more than one?
Yeah, I think
that
will be.
I'm sure they can accommodate.
So we have some in the hopper.
As long as we don't as long as we don't exhaust your voice.
Well, no. I just know I know, not even necessarily yet, but especially when we come up closer to the summer, as you well know.
I don't know if I'll be able to do it during the summer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If we start getting some banking, it's a thought. If we did 2 a week, and still went on a weekly schedule, it could help out.
We'll figure it out. I know that everybody would be really sad to not have it, and I'd like to promote the tour while I was on the road. It would help things overall.
Or promote the podcast.
We want to promote the podcast.
Opposite.
Did anyone mention the podcast to you in Miami?
Yes.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank you. Whoever did that, the one person.
More than one person.
Oh, great.
Like enough people that it was annoying almost that they were.
Oh, cool. Keith Crawford texted me yesterday, and he was asking about George Lowe because nobody is hearing from him, and we're all worried about George. We want to know what's going on with him, but he brought up the podcast.
You kind of have more direct line with George, right?
I would visit George on tour. I'd film him, and he'd give me tours of his amazing apartment where he just has this amazing Southern art collection. And I've always loved George. Like I was into Space Ghost, and so when I'd see George or work with him on the Brack show or whatever, I remember at the first C-Lab party that was in the Cotton Mill Lofts, our first Adult Swim party, the night it launched, and it was hosted by C-Lab, and George was there, and then George had left, and I was like, oh, George was here? Oh, I wish I could have said hi to him. Oh, go run after him. He'd love it to have a fan run up to him and start kissing his ass. And I was like, really? So I literally ran down a hallway where George is walking down the hallway, this tall guy. And I ran up to him and I'm like, I just wanted to let you know I am such a big fan. And ever since then, I just was always visiting him and texting him and making sure he was okay and keeping in touch with him. And because I always feel like those Space Ghost guys, Andy Merrill and Clay, that they were like our founding fathers. And so they always meant so much to me. And so I would love to have George on the show. I'd love to have Andy on the show. And those are the only guests I really want on the show.
I feel like another person who's sort of like you as far as in contact with George is Matt Harrigan.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen, you probably have, but if people want to watch a thing about, there's a show that Matt Harrigan made as a pilot for Adult Swim. That was a reality show, probably the only reality show on Adult Swim.
George would have loved that.
It was called Low Country, and it just followed George around for his day, I think, when he lived in Atlanta. But I think it's on YouTube. You can watch it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I have a big interview with George because I love interviewing people like Dana and George, and I would love to interview Andy and just ask them about, like, who are the people that became these iconic voices, because it's like, it didn't happen overnight. These are like...
George, I mean, he's like...
These people like they were people before they were these characters, and I always like to find out, like, who were you before you were a cartoon? And interviewing George was a lot of fun to learn about like what he was into and how much he loved art and what kind of world he came from. And
he's amazing. I mean, he has this like warehouse behind his house of he collects folk art.
Yeah.
And he knows all of it. Like, I bet he's got millions of dollars.
He's going to have wings named after him. I think he's got like a gallery show in England.
He must. Yeah. I mean, his
He's
collection.
a great connoisseur.
I mean, he's been buying it for like 60 years.
Yeah.
And knows about, I mean, he's very extremely knowledgeable. That's his Disneyland. Whereas I have wasted money on popcorn boxes, napkins, and guidebooks. He's buying things that are an actual investment.
But we'll track these people down and we will try to have them on the show. I would think if we have interviews on the show, I'm thinking they should be 2-hour long shows where we talk for a while and then we bring somebody on. Because can you do a 2-hour?
Yeah, that to me, that's 2 episodes. Part 1 and part 2.
Or not with the interviewee being interviewed for 2 hours, but I mean, need some time to like.
Yeah, we need us time. Maybe that's a Patreon exclusive.
It's like we're stretching before we do our exercises.
Yeah. You don't just, Jackie Joyner Kersey doesn't just hop out of bed and run the 100-meter.
She might. Someone asked for us to have episode names of the episodes, and I don't like doing that because I don't want to reveal anything.
Also, it gets cutesy. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean,
that's one thing we don't want to be. Right. And Dana and I are both on Cameo. What's your Cameo name?
I don't know. Dana Snyder.
Dana Snyder. Mine is Jar Jar Fett.
Is that real?
Yeah, it is.
That's your thing?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not something that makes sense?
Who would know? Well, who would know? I'm checking with mine. Who would know if it wasn't?
Well, there's just links to it on my webpage.
I see. Mine is Eye of the Snyder. Eye of the Tiger. That's
your big social media handle. Did you like that song as a kid?
Sure.
I danced to it in a talent show in 2nd grade where I was just wearing a hoodie and had boxing gloves, and I loved Rocky 2 so much.
Oh, yeah.
I was just doing this little dance where I'm like boxing, shadow boxing.
I think I named it. That's the name of my company, my corporation, because I did a one-man show festival. I was in a one-person show festival in New York, and I didn't know, I had no name for it. So then we were like, oh, Eye of the Snyder.
But anyway, we're both on Cameo.
That's it.
Sorry if that wasn't a good reaction to your story.
That was at least
But anyway, is that what you want to hear?
That's great.
But anyway, is okay?
Yes.
But anyway, we're both on Cameo. If you guys want us to say something to you or say something to a friend, say happy birthday or just roast them or...
I give incredible Cameo.
I will not write a whole rap for you, though. People that say, can you write a diss rap? It's like that is... That's going to cost you a little bit more than
There's a reason
$50.
I have an over 4.99 review.
I got a good review. I got good reviews. I got multiple reviews.
I was trying to find the equation of how many other people do by how many, because most people don't leave a review, to be honest.
Sorry when I look at the clock.
It's all right. See, there you go.
I'm just thinking about Tony. I'm thinking about Tony. I worry about him.
Oh, yeah. He's got 2 voodoo dolls on his desk.
He can't wait to go.
They both look like us. He's jabbing them with stick pins.
So if you listen to us people ask, what's the best way to listen? Well, do what I do. Listen to it 3 times. Listen to it on Spotify. Listen to it on Apple. Listen to it on YouTube. Leave a comment and a review everywhere you listen to it. If you have a preference, do your preference. But if you want to be an Uber fan and really help us out, do what I do. Listen to it multiple times so you can find all those places where Dana and I are talking over each other. Decipher those moments.
Yeah, that's why I do it. So that it's re-listenability. Dino and I joke on our Safe Space podcast that there are frequently 2 conversations going on at the same exact time.
What is this other podcast?
It's just called Safe Space.
Is it existing now?
Yeah.
You have another podcast?
For years. Years and years.
I feel like you're cheating on me.
It's Dino. But if anything, I'm cheating. Listen, the ripples on our group text were not good when I brought this up. I got accused of cheating with them. But
how many podcasts are you doing right now?
Just 2. This?
Why do I feel like you're lying to me?
No. I've always done Safe Space. I basically took over for Andy Dick. Dino asked
not the first time in your life.
Yeah. Oddly enough,
You're always
Andy,
doing what Andy doesn't want to do.
I know, which is saying something, which is not much.
Lets you know where you're at.
Yeah. Andy Dick grew up in the same neighborhood as Doc Hammer, by the way.
That's the tidbit everybody was waiting
It's
for.
so weird to think what that fucking neighborhood must have been like. A little Doc Hammer walking around and a little Andy Dick in Connecticut or
who
wherever
picked on
they're
who?
from. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was a no-pick neighborhood.
Everybody's just spindly there.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Doc did tell me that Andy
framed.
Dick used to play butt bongos with all the kids that he would go like they would line up with, not bare butts.
That makes
Not
it
that
better.
it matters.
That makes
Yeah.
it better.
Just lines up a little kid's asses wrapped in garanimals. I mean, to be fair, he was also a kid,
That makes it okay.
but they thought it was real funny.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We really appreciate it. Please follow us on YouTube. Please leave a comment everywhere. I really like to see all the comments. Ask us a question. Maybe we'll answer it on the podcast.
I'll set up one of them emails they can send.
Don't listen to Dana's other podcast.
That's too good.
I don't want it to succeed. I want it to be like that.
Well,
that
listen,
growth that just kind of isn't given enough blood and just falls off the body.
Dino makes sure that it's only available on Patreon if you're a Patreon subscriber to it, and it's only up for 1 week.
Ooh, that's tough. How many subscribers do you have?
I don't know. But that's what Dino. There's at least 6 people on it.
You're just coasting through life. How do you do it?
Or 7
I want to
people
be you, where I don't have to do anything. What a king.
Well, I got to do everything else.
Yeah.
This is my break.
Yeah.
This is my nice, restful time.
Okay, thank you for letting us go over. We won't do this again.
Sorry, Tony.
Until next week. And
He's got a stormtrooper chair or Venom tie-in from the Venom.
It's
movie.
White and black is what Dana's saying. But Dana, we appreciate your time, and now you can wish me well for my impending surgery.
Hard work. I hope your colonoscopy and all your oscopies meet in the middle with no polypy intrusions.
Yeah. Hope the cameras both see each other and they're just like, hey,
and tell him
Frank.
Tell him not to pull it out at the same exact time because they'll create a suction. Like take one out and then take the other one out. Otherwise, they can pull your innards out at the same time.
I'm afraid about what I'm going to feel like when I wake up.
And just know
I'm going to feel used.
And Jeff, just know they probably will find some polyps. That just happens. And they'll probably take them out when they're in there.
You want to make a bet?
How much?
$10 a polyp.
No, we're not doing per polyp. I don't have a full picture of your
I'm glad that's not on your phone.
All I know is what you have for breakfast.
Yeah.
So I can't make an informed decision about the number of polyps from eating.
How many polyps do you think you're rocking
48
right now?
years. Oh, God. I'm nothing but polyps. Polyps are all that's holding me together right now.
Yeah. You're just
polyps and Diet
just a
Coke.
mass of polyps.
Yeah. I'm Mr. Polyp. That's why I wear these sweaters. If I had just a T-shirt on, you'd see my
unzip that
polypy
thing, all
lumps.
the polyps come out.
Yeah. Just spill over like the guts in the Hannibal movie.
Very good.
When he's tied up in
You
Florence.
found that reference super fast.
Remember when he slashes his, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I used to love those. I mean, I still love them, I guess.
You love it when the intestines come out and they're just like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah. What's that
and they just start playing with them.
He's juggling them.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody.